Well, I'm already dressed up and like ready to leave. Okay, just take my hat off, take my book back off. There you go. Is this thing plugged in? Yeah. Okay. Wasted a whole battery on there. It is like so absolutely miserable outside. Hold on. Let me just show you. It's just like white out conditions. Can't even see the tower. So like absolutely. Oh, so yeah. Martin Luther King Day is always like this. It's always like so terrible. Um, what I wanted, I mean, it's just like I just, I'm here I am, ready to leave and stuff like that. It's Sunday. It's cold. It's like I've been doing stuff days and days on end. Like it's like I say, I want to give myself a break, but then there's nothing really to do at home anyway. So, it's like okay, well, let's go get back on the train, go crazy. Um, Really, the problem is that this is the closest I feel like I've come to any sort of peace, and it's just like riding this needle, and it's so hard to ride this needle because um, money's very tight. Uh, the working world is going to be calling me, and it just becomes this. Um, that the more I do this, the less I want to come back. That's basically it. Once you run away with the circus, you just want to stay with the circus, and this is how it feels like. I don't really fit into this world. I don't fit into this working. I don't fit in. That's it. It's just like it's very hard for me to just kind of like put some stupid ass smile on my face and just go back to toil. Um, with this, I'm coming here every day, working on this project, working on these ideas. I'm exploring other things outside, buying materials, taking a walk around, taking pictures, start, making like future plans on other things that I want to do. I already have another idea for a project that I'd like to do. So I want to continue on this path, and I don't want to be interrupted. And with that, then I avoid booze. Uh, I sleep pretty well. Um, I don't feel fatigued. I'm not taking afternoon naps. I'm not groggy. I'm not anything. Like I'm not involved with it. I'm not talking to anyone. I'm not, then I don't feel emotionally unhinged or bothered, because I'm not getting into the thick of it with people, which is always a problem. People are always a problem with their arguments, with their ideas, with their bullshit. And since I've distanced myself from it, um, well, lo and behold, you feel better. Yeah, I don't like, maybe I know there's too much isolation, too much loneliness. I guess it does get makes you crazy. But then you have to kind of get over that hump of crazy because people obviously make me crazier, and I can dedicate hours and hours on end to getting these ideas across, doing the pastel work, fixing things, putting the gloss on them, and then make sure that nothing gets smudged. Work on proposals, like and excited, and then I go to some of these art shows. I don't think there's anything going on tonight. It's already too late anyway. It's like Sunday, and then I've seen some good work over the past couple of days, couple of weeks, and then feel like you're inspired and you just want to stay in that mode. And I feel like I got to figure out how to just permanently stay in this mode, because this mode at least seems to be functional. Once I get back into that, into the shit out there, it doesn't work anymore. I don't work. It's just going to cause more friction, and it's like it's like I don't want to get out of my comfort zone. It's been a lifetime trying to get into a comfort zone. I'm always in this comfort zone. Things have never been good. Things have never been lush and green, at least, to a real big extent. Had my moments, but I'm trying to sustain something, and like I want to continue this path, and the world is just going to come crashing through the door, going to be just knocking me in the head, and then it's going to be like, well, what do you think you're doing? Like, you got to go back out into the field. You got to, it's like you got to put the yoke on. That's it. It's like, sorry, you weren't born wealthy. Sorry you made every terrible financial decision you could. Too bad you made every career decision. Like let's just get back to your, reputation, man. You did everything wrong. So what do you want? And what do you expect to happen? And it's just like, I wasn't trying to do anything wrong. I wasn't trying to do anything bad on purpose. I was just trying to figure out a way to get to a certain place like this where I can burn out these days and be comfortable and feel safe and feel creative and hyper focused on what I'm doing, and then it puts my mind at ease and it puts me at peace. And then, what does a person seek in life? They seek some level of peace. They seek some level of comfort. They seek some level of just fulfillment. I'm doing it, and then I have to stop it. I have to stop it for, this insanity out there. And I don't want to stop it. And I'm just not smart enough or clever enough, or definitely that I've been lucky enough to make like the right, um, financial steps, or whatever you want to call it. And I hate even the words, the money steps. It makes me nuts that I just didn't lay out that road ahead first and then just go down it. It's just jumping from vine to vine and hoping for the best. As more as I do this, the more I want to do. So the more money I want to spend on. It's like I like the experimentation. I feel like it means something to me. I'm trying to get to the meat. This is anthropology. This is getting down into society. This is, coming up and exploring all these things. Like, it's like basically I'm a documentarian, but I'm doing it through like assemblage and pastels. I find it fascinating. So, when yeah, and you have that curiosity, and then it's healthy, and then it feels like it's compelling, and then to stop it dead in its tracks just seems so awful. And I don't know what I'm gonna do, and it really stinks because it's like there's a 3-day weekend. I guess technically I could buy myself one more day before the world comes crashing down next week. That's just going, and then it's just then I have to do everything I can to keep everything from falling apart, and all the time. And it sucks when you're in this groove, and then you're not permitted to stay in that groove because you're just not. You just that you just can't handle or shore up or do the right things to make this groove last, and it's depressing. And I'm trying to work with this. I'm trying to do everything I can to keep everything from falling to pieces. I try to make a good change. I try to make a positive change, and the world doesn't care. And the universe doesn't care. It doesn't want. It's like, well, that's on you, buddy. You know, don't want to wrap your lips around a bottle. Well, that's you. That's your business. We don't care either way. We just want you to pay your bills and shut up and toe the line. How dare you move around? How dare you create? How dare you break any sort of chain? Just sit down and shut up. And I just can't. And I'm motivated. And then and then what are you gonna do? It's like, and I don't know who to tell this to. What am I tell this to the landlords, or you tell it to a girl, you tell it to a job, you tell it, it's like no, I'm good on my own. I don't need you. I don't need your BS. I can do things on my own. I get out of bed and do my work. 8, 10 hours a day, easy, if not more. I didn't get home till 2 o'clock in the morning last night. So I don't need anyone's help in terms of, I don't need anyone to kick me in the ass and get me out of bed. I can get myself out of bed and do work. And the work keeps me going. So I hope I figure out something.